So Logan, you made a comment, and I'll leave it up to you to
Yeah.
explain the comment. Did anything happen to lead up to your comment?
Nothing at all. It was, I think, a Monday, and I was looking to get some Twitter engagement, and I knew Miami Twitter would come through, and they did kind of decent. It was kind of boring though. They didn't have much of an argument. More of the Twitter, FSU Twitter came through, retweeted, liked it, got into the arguments for me. But practically, I said good morning and daily reminder. FSU's Dalvin Cook was 2 times a better college running back than any other Miami running backs in history. Have a great day. And I thought that was a nice message to some of our fans that maybe are on the Mark Rogers show. Some of them follow me on Twitter. So it's good to wake them up a little bit, get their day going, get them energized. It might give them some motivation to go to the gym instead of on the doobies and the Hennessy shots at the clubs. But I just wanted to get that out there and let them know, because there's not really an argument for it. I knew Jason. I had to hold it down for Jason too, because I knew he wasn't going to be on the show with us that night. Or that week. So I had to step it up, and that was something pretty easy because they couldn't really argue that position group that much at the running back department, at least in the college level. I know if we go to the NFL, it's different. Dalvin Cook's still a newbie there, but college running back, Dalvin Cook, and plus Miami fans, I think whenever they hear Dalvin Cook, flashbacks. I mean, it's instant nightmares, and they'll admit it in the chat. A few of them did last week, but Jason, I know that you are, you might have an interesting take on this too, but at least college level, Dalvin Cook, it's a scary name for Miami fans.
And I mean, he single-handedly beat Miami all 3 times Florida State played them. Without him, Florida State is on a 7-game losing streak to Miami instead of a 4-game losing streak. So Miami fans need to thank their lucky stars he left school early. I'm not saying I necessarily disagree with you, but it was a hot take, and I do appreciate you taking my role as the Miami troll last week. I do appreciate that. You stepped up like that. I don't know what your question is with Hennessy of late. You've mentioned them multiple times. Is that your new sponsor?
Right. I actually need it. It would help me a little bit, but if football is over with and it was stressful, and basketball is over, so I don't have to really be drinking that much.
Now, I don't necessarily disagree, but I'm saying you're sitting here saying that Dalvin Cook is better than any running back ever in the history of the University of Miami at the college level.
Without a doubt.
I'll give you it over the last 15 years. I think we talked about this earlier today. I think the only competition would probably be maybe Edgerrin James, Willis McGahee. Those are kind of guys before your time a little bit. So I'm going to deflect to James a little bit more and Mark a little bit on this one. Where would you put Dalvin in relation to those guys? In relation to Edgerrin James, Willis McGahee, Clinton Portis, kind of that little era right there. I think those are the only guys who could compete with Dalvin. James, what do you think?
I give the edge.
Really?
But not by a lot. I think, again, college, you have to remember Miami had a stable of backs. Like, was it McGahee? Was it McGahee that was the fullback at one point? Because Portis was so good.
He was.
So like.
Yeah, he was kind of like that, and then that was when they had Dante Davenport, they had Clinton Portis, and then you had McGahee coming up, and then as a freshman you had Frank Gore in the NFL.
They've got guys who have done extremely well in the NFL, and what I tell people is the NFL and college, it's the same sport, but it's a different game, if that makes sense. Like if you find a role in a niche on a certain team, you can play that, you can fulfill that for you, especially if you're not commanding much. But like Dalvin Cook is, to me, single-handedly the best running back that I've ever played at Florida State. So I mean, we'll come after that. But I mean, it's what he was able to do in 3 years and how good he was without having any other superior weapons around him. Like, you knew he was getting the ball, and you knew you could not really stop it. And the minute you stopped them from a running perspective, they just threw it to him out of the backfield. So it was like, that's why I said. But again, I'm speaking on Edgerrin James. I mean, I was like high school kid coming up when those guys. I remember Willis like playing against him. Everybody else, but like Dalvin's, having been able to watch Dalvin, knowing football a little bit more, it's hard. So like I don't know. Like I said, I give the edge to Edgerrin, but Dalvin was definitely a unique, dynamic running back.
I I agree. I think Edgerrin James is probably the best Miami back. I think Willis McGahee doesn't get enough credit because he was splitting time with Clinton Portis. He only played 2 seasons. The devastating injury, obviously, in the festival. I think Edgerrin James gets a lot of love because of that big UCLA game. But look, I would give Dalvin the edge because of the numbers. Dalvin Cook averaged over 120 yards every single game. Dalvin Cook was consistently, he was the most valuable guy. We've talked about it. He won conservatively 8 games, literally 11 games. So between 8 and 11 games during his 3 seasons were won solely because of Dalvin Cook, because of Dalvin Cook's numbers. To me, he is the more valuable guy. I think Edgerrin James gets a lot of credit because I'll give you an example. The UCLA game in 1998 when they came back to beat UCLA, knock UCLA out of the national championship that essentially put Florida State into that game. You know, so I would say probably Dalvin, number 1, Edgerrin James, number 2, Willis McGahee, number 3. But I'm always also going to give love to Warrick Dunn. Warrick Dunn to me is Dalvin's the best, but Warrick Dunn's the GOAT. How do you hate on Warrick like that, man? Come on. Warrick's the GOAT.
No hate on Warrick. I just don't think he's better than Dalvin. I mean, Warrick Warrick is an amazing man. He's an amazing running back. And the other thing too is Billy Sexton comes from, and Billy Sexton doesn't even say that was the best running back that he ever had. He says Sammy Smith is the best running back he ever had.
Wow.
So I've got to go a little bit with the guy who's seen all of them, but then with the guy that I've actually seen with my own 2 eyes do stuff that at a running back position that is downright special, man. I love Ward.
Sammy, number 33. So if you're going to go statistically, because, man, it's been so long ago to remember what those guys looked like at Miami versus Dalvin Cook, I can still visualize and process how I felt watching Dalvin Cook run and how I evaluated him. Those Miami backs kind of run together as college backs. You know, when we had our DM this afternoon, Jason threw it out there. We all chimed in. I went the NFL route as well, which is a very interesting comparison because Dalvin Cook's off to a tremendous start. His last 2 seasons are borderline great in the NFL. Frank Gore has had a tremendous 8 seasons over 1,000 yards, but they can't get him off the field. The guy's just phenomenal in regards to his endurance. But if you're looking at statistically in college, I think there's a pretty clear separation that Dalvin Cook's number 1, that Edge is 2, because those other Miami backs, they had one great year because they were the man one time. Right. McGahee had a crazy good season, but 29 touchdowns, but it was one time. Gore was one time that they carried because they were always running into each other. Between Portis, McGahee, and Gore, they were on the same team, so they had to take their turns. And Warrick Dunn had a great career, no question about that. I would probably statistically rank him 3rd out of those 6 guys.
And let's give Miami, let's be honest, during those times when Edgerrin James were there, the times that Willis McGahee were there, they were also a passing offense. These were the teams that had Santana Moss, Andre Johnson, two of the best wide receivers in the program's history were during that program.
Reggie Wayne.
Reggie Wayne, you know, the arguments are making should be in the NFL Hall of Fame. You know, so they're very good running backs. Don't get me wrong. Edgerrin James, I love Edgerrin James. I respected Edgerrin James when he played Miami. I just think you put the 2 against each other, I give it to Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook's the only back out of those 6. Well, Warrick Dunn was the guy for 3 years, but Cook had 3 tremendous seasons. The other guys were 1 or 2 years that they were the man. Let's catch up to some of these Super Chat contributions here. BGPO Football Funk, thank you so much for the contribution. DeAndre, when will Florida State, this is DeAndre's favorite question, by the way, when will Florida State beat Clemson again?
Not 2021.
Okay, we got that one out of the way. Hurricane Kilo 407. Go Canes. Hi, Mark. This Florida State panel looks depressed in the face.
Kilo, I wonder how you make your money, sir. Your name is Hurricane Kilo from the Orlando area. So if you are part of law enforcement in the Orlando area,
he's passing on some of the revenue.
Oh, there you go.
Some of the proceeds to
I'm
us.
actually not depressed. I had a good salad.
The most interesting thing about Miami fans is that I saw more tweets from Miami fans about FSU's spring game than our spring game. and I was watching it, and I kept my comments to myself and how I felt, and I talked to some coaches that I know, and man, you guys are great, man. Like, I really wish my fan base was as strong and as committed as you guys fan bases are to narratives and to lives. Because I've been back since I was a senior in high school. No, you won this my senior year. You've been back since my freshman year in college, and man, that's a long time. That's a long time to screw. Like, you have literally no room to talk about anybody until you can truly win a conference. Now, we know what happened when you played Clemson, and God bless Mark. He did the worst thing. Not Mark, not you, but Coach Mark Rick did the worst thing that could actually happen to somebody in football. You're getting demolished, and there's literally very little time, and you drive to go kick field goal. That's more embarrassing to me than the goose egg, because you literally just didn't want to. You were fighting to not have somebody score. So, like, to me, I would just be. I know you're happy to be good, but, like, man, like, you sucking while we suck is not a good look on you. At least when you guys were down, we were rolling. Like, so that's what I want more for you. Because as a guy who played in the rivalry, understands the rivalry, has friends on the other side of the rivalry, I know that your victories mean absolutely nothing to a real Cane fan. So, I mean, appreciate the money, appreciate the listens, but like y'all should be demanding more. Like, you're having recruiting classes. Like, you should be demanding more than just 3 points against Clemson one time in, was it 15 years?
17.
Like,
17 years.
17 years, and one time in 17 years. That's not the Miami standard. Like,
This is
and fake Cuban that turn kids' necks green is not the play.
This is the 20th anniversary of Miami's last national title season coming up. 20 seasons. This year's freshmen, true freshmen, weren't born when Miami last won a national title. You're not relevant. Yes, Florida State sucked last season. We went 3-6. We were not good last season. We haven't had a winning season since 2017. I'll admit it. That's fine. I'll own it. You haven't won a national title since 2001. You haven't won a conference title since 2003. You're not relevant either. You're on a 2-game losing streak, including losing the Cheez-It Bowl. You lost in a bowl game named after a snack you eat when you're drunk. You're not relevant either.
And I think that second part, that's what's really alarming. That's what's really a smack in the face, is the conference drought. It's tough to win a national championship. It's tough to win a conference championship, obviously, but national championship, you got to get selected to the playoff or the BCS. Things have to break right. But for anybody that would have said when Miami joined the ACC in 2004, we will be sitting here in 2021 and you will have no conference championship games. You will have no conference championships. You will have gone to one conference championship game, and to James' point, you lost by 5 touchdowns. That would have been shocking.
Well,
before that, Duke, Virginia, Wake Forest, Georgia Tech.
Multiple times Georgia Tech have been to conference championship games.
Boston College.
Pitt. Yeah, you're right. Pitt. All these schools have been
Everybody.
there before you. And the craziest thing is Miami tells us they're the Lord of the Rings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pitt's in our conference. Pitt has a lot of national championships from years that most of us weren't alive also. But Pitt doesn't go around talking about, we had, rings during the disco era. Or
Tony Dorsett.
It's just like, let's just, hey, you like your bionic quarterback. We kind of like our bionic quarterback might win, might the job, might not. We might have Jordan Travis out there. Neither one of us are winning for. So, like, hey, let's just play the best. None of us beating Clemson.
James remembers during the 2004 season, Miami's first year in the ACC, we went down, and I was working for a station in Tallahassee. We went down to Miami for their media day, All you heard from Canes players, coaches, was it's the all Canes conference. We're going to come in, we're going to dominate. We just dominated the Big East. They had won a national title just 3 seasons before, played in one in Ohio against Ohio State in the 2002 season. They thought, oh, this is going to be all Canes conference. We've been to one championship game in 17 seasons. Florida State has been to 5. So why are you saying we're not relevant? If we're not relevant, you are a joke of a program. 1 to 5.
You've been to 5, 1, 4?
1, 4 of them, yeah.
Did it? Okay.
So we're 4-1 in the last 17 seasons. You're 0-1. Congratulations, you're a joke. FIU beat you. Just remember that when in doubt.
We lost the conference championship?
Yeah, in 2010 to Virginia Tech.
Oh, yeah.
Let's
see what Falcon ERX has to say here with their super chat contribution.
Falcon ERX, you didn't go to Miami either. Thank you for the $5. We appreciate it, but you didn't go to Miami either.
So go to FSU to be good in college. Hang on, James, just a second here. So I'm trying to decipher this. So go to FSU to be good in college, blank. Go to Miami to be good in the NFL player. Okay, blank. I love that recruiting message.
He's using the argument why Edgerrin James is better than Dalvin Cook. That's his argument that he's saying right there is Edgerrin James is a Hall of Fame player because he went to Miami. Not because of anything he did for the Colts or the Cardinals in the NFL, but because of him going to college 20 years before. That's why he's in the NFL Hall of Fame.
No, I mean, you go to college. This is why I go. I gotta say this and I gotta go. This is the problem with normal people thinking. Getting to the NFL is hard enough. That's the 1% of the 2% that play Division I football. Getting to the Hall of Fame, forget that. Like that's you gotta play almost 8 years. Like I want to get to the NFL to get my first contract. Like that's literally the thing. And now Miami players have done pretty well once they to the NFL. But when I look at my running back position, almost everybody in the segment was the NFL, including a guy who transferred to Kansas State, and Thomas Clayton. So John, Lorenzo, Thomas Clayton, Greg Jones, Nick Maddox, Willie Reed, I believe B.J. Dean was with the Ravens for his for camp. So that's 8 guys in a span of years. Receiver room, tons of guys in the NFL. Once you get to the NFL, your college affiliation means absolutely nothing. Mm-hmm. Like it's about you now. It's a singular purpose. So really, you go to college to get if you're good enough, to give you the opportunity to put your foot in the door. Hell, Miami's got more Hall of Famers than Alabama, but I damn sure know that pitch that you just put up to a kid who's ready to go to Bama ain't working against Nick Saban. I just want to go get that bread. NFL, average career, 2-3 years. So, I mean, the reality is I want to go and get a check, and then hopefully I'll stick around. So, but it's all good. Miami's had some phenomenal players over the years.
If you're dumb enough to think that the Hall of Fame committee votes on people because of where they went to college, if you think they look and go, oh, Ray Lewis, yeah, great linebacker, they thought, oh, wait, he went to Miami. Well, that's why we need to put him in the Hall of Fame. If you honestly believe that's what they do, you might be the dumbest fan base out there.
Well, they are the dumbest fan base if they believe that. But I think the point is that we produced all these great NFL players.
Right.
I don't think they're. I hope they're not saying that the Hall of Fame committee is looking at where they played in college.
But here's the point.
That's crazy.
Here's the point. When did those guys get produced? Those are great guys. Edgerrin James was a great player for the University of Miami in 1998. Willis McGahee was a great running back for the University of Miami in 2002. The point that I think James is trying to make here is Miami has not been relevant for nearly 2 decades. It has nearly been 2 decades since Miami has won a conference. 18 seasons ago was the last time the University of Miami won their conference. And you want to sit here, if you want to talk about other schools' relevance, look at yourself in the mirror first. Yes, Miami has a great history. Miami had nearly 30 seasons where they could argue they were the best team in college football, or one of the best teams in college football during that nearly 30-season period from 1983 to 2001. Or excuse me, 20-season period. I apologize. Nearly 20-season period over that time period. Since then, you have been a joke of a program. So don't talk smack about Florida State without looking at yourself first.
One of our friends at the channel here calls it a microwave dynasty, and that's exactly what it was. They've got an 18-year history of greatness out of 100 years of football or whatever the number is. They've got 18 phenomenal seasons.
They're the Child's High School of the ACC. That's what they are. They are the child.
And probably the best running back since those three played is probably Duke Johnson, right?
Yeah,
Produced
I
by
was just
Miami.
looking at their list right now.
Yeah.
I was looking at their list right now. I mean, Njoku, Chicolo, Chickalaka, Chiki, whatever he is. I can name 3 other linebackers that Florida State has. Chicolo.
Oh, I thought we were sticking with running
We're
backs.
sticking with running backs there.
Oh, running backs, yeah.
Who's the
I
one
was
they had?
thinking of like,
Who's
I
the
was
one
going
they
back
had?
to like the comment about the NFL players that are doing good.
Help me on this one, James. The running back they had after Gore. He was from down here. He just passed away.
Not Jackson.
Moss.
Yes. Is it Janoris? Not Janoris.
No, that's North.
Janoris.
Tyrone Moss?
I think that might be it. They had Sweetness' son down there too.
Tyrone.
Oh, yeah. Jeremiah.
Jared Payton.
Jared. Yep.
But Jared
Tyrone
Payton,
Moss, I believe.
Jared Payton only started because of injuries at the end of the 2003 season and then played in the Orange Bowl game. That's another case of guys who they had good guys, and they had a lot of good guys who played the position. That's it.
I got to go get ready to talk bad about Miami and other stuff on radio. So
Yeah.
I'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, James. Appreciate it, man.
Adios.
Yes, you guys nailed it with Tyrone Moss. He backed up Gore in 04. And then in 05, their main back was Moss again with Charlie Jones.
And he just passed away recently. But yeah, other than him, maybe Duke Johnson.
Duke Johnson's. I got to think Duke Johnson is definitely their best back since 02.
Of the last nearly 20 seasons, yeah, probably
in the NFL.
Since the 02 season.
Too, yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you guys? Devontae Freeman.
Devontae Freeman, James Wilder.
James Wilder was great. Yep.
But that was also, remember, in 2013, I think Devontae Freeman gets underrated because of the fact that he had to split time with James Wilder. You had Carlos Williams, who moved over from safety and played linebacker that season. There was a
look at
there.
Look at what Cam Akers is doing.
Yep.
Cam in the league. It's impressive.
Did his thing too.
He's no doubt.
Jason has a thing against Cam Akers. I don't know what it is.
I have respect for Calvin Akers as an athlete. I have respect for Cam Akers as an athlete, and I wish him nothing but the best with the Rams in the NFL. I am disappointed because I don't think he played as hard as he could in that 2018 season. I think he's the reason that Florida State lost several of those games that they could have won or been more competitive in. But I think he is a very good running back. I think he's, if you're saying of the NFL backs of Dalvin, Devontae, and Cam, I'd put him at third right now between those three. But I think he could move up past Devontae.
He was disappointing as a sophomore, but then he came back as a man, as a junior. He had hardly any help up front, and he was making his own way.
Wait, are you saying the offensive line had woes for Florida State? Don't talk bad about that unit. That's the greatest unit of Florida State football, according to Logan Robinson from No Game Day.
Yeah, right. Someone help him, Mark. Rehab.
All right. Yeah.
He does have some horrible takes. Horrible takes, D. I know he's horrible. Horrible. He's
all right.
He's horrible.
I think we've done enough damage.
Well, we could do more.
All right, Florida State fans and just college football fans that want to help us out, head on over to Noel Game Day, push them past 1,000 subs. I saw that the other day. You guys were hanging around 930, 940. I chimed in with my sub, and hopefully other people will as well. Got to get them over 1,000. We'd like to get over 1,000 on our Florida State channel as well. So just look up Voice of College Football Florida State.
Logan, what are you going to do if you get over 1,000? What are you going to give the viewers if you get over 1,000 subscriptions?
I am going to mail them a wristband. I'm going to mail them a wristband. Someone in the chat, I'm going to mail them one.
So a random viewer gets a wristband, but James and I don't. Got it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, y'all don't get. That's exactly why I brought it up.
Cool, Ben. Thanks, bro. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
No, I think you might be the fan that gets it.
I mean, I would wear it. I'd wear your hat. I'd wear your wristband.
I just got to send them. We just got the hats. I just got that text today. I need to go pick them up before the end of the week.
Okay. I'll send you my address so I can actually get a hat.
Yeah. Go ahead and get ahead and send me the address.